Welcome, everyone, to the only podcast in the land that you need to get all of your comic book review information from. You're listening to the best damn comic book review podcast in all of the internet lands. This is Tales from the Spinner Rack, and my name is Matt.
I'm Jay.
And he's an on mute Corbin. What a fail. Corbin fails. Act like you've been here before.
I said my name twice too. I'm Corbin.
Failure.
I'm a failure.
And this is Tales from the Spinner Rack. If it's your first time here, like I said in the intro, this is a show where we review all the new comic books that came out that we picked up this week. We also give you a chance to tell us what you picked up this week and what you thought of the books that we review in the comment section below. So, yeah, start taking advantage of that.
Do it. Do it now.
Do it. Do it now. All right, so we are coming to you live Thursday night because this Sunday is Father's Day. You normally catch us on Sundays, but we're gonna give it to you a little bit early this week to celebrate all the dads out there.
Sunday. Gotta get my gifts from my kids.
Yep.
Oh, wait.
Yep, you're like 37 illegitimate children, right?
Oh, wow.
At least Jay knows his kids.
You want to go there? Oh, wow. Sorry, we're not all high comic book podcast rollers slinging our seed everywhere. We can't all be you.
You and your poor milk carton babies out there that can't be that don't know where daddy
funny.
went.
You're funny. I have a joke for yours, but I'm gonna leave it alone. We're not gonna do this here.
You went for some scratchers and never came home.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Did I remind you that Juneteenth is tomorrow?
Yeah. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. This is today. This is the now.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Who stands in solidarity? No, I'm playing.
But yeah. So this Sunday is Father's Day, so we decided to do our reviews early. So this show we got quite a few books to review. Corbin's gonna open a mystery box. We're gonna get some news. We're gonna talk about books next week. So let's get started. Let's just jump right in. Who wants to kick us off this week? You know what? I think I'm gonna start this week.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
You know, I usually defer to you guys, but I think this week I'm gonna start.
We like it.
And this week I'm gonna start with what book do I want to start with this week? You know, I was gonna defer, and I'm like, I'm gonna start, but then I'm like, I don't know what I want to start with. So let's go. There we go. That's where we're gonna start this week.
That's the sweet spot.
That's where we're starting. We are starting with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Power Rangers number 5.
The conclusion.
The conclusion of this story arc. If you are a fan of either one of these franchises growing up, Power Rangers and Turtles, if you're like me and you were born in the mid to late 80s, you caught both franchises when they're at the top of their popularity. This is a fantastic crossover. This saw the Rangers piloting the Megazord, the Turtles dressed as Rangers piloting the Megazord, fighting a giant Bebop and Rocksteady that Rita made grow. And then you had Shredder in the Dragon Zord also fighting them. You saw the Power Rangers in ninja form piloting a giant metalhead. You know, their robotic turtle. They turned him into a giant mech. And you find out that the Megazord has the power to combine with anything. So they bring Metalhead and the Megazord together to form the Turtle Megazord. And it is as dope as it sounds.
Turtle Megazord.
If you're a fan of the franchise, it is definitely as dope as it sounds. Picture incoming. Bam. I can't get it. Hold on. Oh,
you're trying.
Oh.
You're failing, but you're failing. There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. I give it a C+. You get 2 couch cushions.
Get out of here. It's as dope as it sounds. In the end, though, the good guys win. The Turtles and the Power Rangers win out the day. Get the green power coin back from the Shredder. And it ends with a face-off between Raphael and a morphed Green Ranger Tommy, ready to go. Great ending. Couldn't ask for more. Definitely leaves it open for a sequel. I'm hoping for a sequel because I had a lot of fun with this story and this crossover. and I would like to see more from it. I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5.
Whoa!
There it is, a 5 out of 5.
The first 5 out of 5 in
that
this
I've
whole
ever
podcast.
seen.
A
Well, I mean,
5 out of 5.
Yeah, definitely the first I've seen Matt give.
It was a fantastic crossover. It had everything you wanted as a Power Rangers and Ninja Turtle fan. You had Michelangelo cracking jokes. You had, the Power Rangers doing their thing. Giant robots, giant Bebop and Rocksteady. Shredder in a face-off between the two most popular Turtles in Raphael and the most popular Power Ranger in Tommy Oliver at the end of the story. Definitely leaves it open for more. Gotta give it a 5 out of 5.
But okay.
What? No,
You
sir.
said the most powerful
No,
Ranger
sir.
was
The most
Zach.
popular Ranger was not Zach.
Well, obviously, he wasn't the most popular, but he was the
It's
most powerful.
Tommy. So get out of here. 5 out of 5 for me. You could disagree all you want. That's fine. It may be nostalgia glasses, but 5 out of 5. I had a damn good time reading this series. I was damn excited to finish it. I'm a little sad that it's over, but I would recommend it to anyone who's a fan of both franchises. 5 out of 5. Ninja Turtles Power Rangers number 5. Let's go. Give me more. Give me another series. We got 3 out of Batman Ninja Turtles. Give me a little bit more Power Rangers Ninja Turtles. I'm on board. Let's go.
You're ready to basically weigh every book we do from this show on out against.
Hey, man.
Power
5 out
Rangers.
of 5. 5 out of 5 this week.
Okay.
I would
That's
buy
solid.
this 5 out of 5 times I walked into a comic book shop.
Even if it was in a mystery box. That's
5
how
out
you-
of 5. I'm not saying that's my only 5 out of 5 this week either.
Oh.
So,
Ooh, my lighting. Ooh, holy lighting, Corbin. Okay.
yeah.
Solid. All right.
I'm not
then.
saying I'm going to give another 5 out of 5 this week. I'm just saying that might not be my only 5 out of 5 this week.
You're just keeping it all up in the air. That's what you're doing.
I'm keeping it open.
All right then.
But who wants to go? Who wants to go next?
I think. I mean, if Jay, you want to throw out some of you. I know you read a few books, right?
If you want to go next, man, it's fine.
I mean, I was gonna say if I'm gonna go next, we might as well all go in since we all read Death Metal number 1.
Okay.
That was my one and only pickup. You know what? I don't regret it. I mean, it's weird. I had to come away with something. That's part of the pressure when you do a comic book podcast. Having to actually bring a book. But yeah, it's Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo. It was basically it isn't basically. It is a sequel to the original Dark Knight's Metal. Which is this just mega crossover event with it was okay. So correct me if I'm wrong here. Like, it's basically coming off of the Dark Knight's Metal, which is also spanning Snyder's run on Justice League, and even has some elements of Doomsday Clock. But basically, they're teaming up. It continues the saga from Dark Knight's Metal, the introduction of Batman Who Laughs. It's really like dense and over the top. It kind of goes everywhere. It ended the series. Dark Knight's Metal ended on like a cliffhanger, sort of, that basically leads right to this. And it started from the very beginning. It was kind of dark. Basically, Wonder Woman and Swamp Thing were kind of these wardens for enemies of the Batman Who Laughs, who at this point has amassed this great universe, or great army from across the dark multiverse.
The army of Batman.
Yeah, which is interesting because in this one, I don't want to give away too much of the story. So I'm going to stop as far as going with the specific moment by moment. It just came out. It's a big story. It's going to be a big event that DC is going to be going with for a little bit here. But the Batmen were interesting. You had a Batman who had died, but before he passed, uploaded his consciousness into the T-Rex in the Batcave. I forgot what his name. I'm not even gonna try to remember it. That was interesting. You had a Batman that was they call him the Beyonder, which was like a reverse Batman Beyond, but with the colors changed, so red was the primary color and the black was the side. That was insane. You had the classic, I call it the TV element, where the Batman and Batman Who Laugh faced each other for a moment, and the Batman Who Laughs was like, kill him, and like all these other Batmen just came to attack him. Like, it was a weird, over the top number 1, but this series is emblematic of what this series is. It's basically Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo just having fun with it, going crazy, just all over the multiverse with different characters, and you have Wonder Woman with the chainsaw. I thought it had a lot of exposition. It was very wordy. It was almost like a chip off the old block of the old comics with a lot of text, but I didn't mind it. I just thought it was interesting, especially, with the illustrations being as big as they were and seeing different iterations of heroes and characters that we know. But aside from that, I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of Dark Knight Metal. I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I didn't get the whole, I guess there's like a rock and roll element, or not a rock and roll, metal element to it that is lost on me completely. But it was interesting.
Yeah. There's some songs and stuff woven into some of the names. Like old metal references, like nods. But yeah, you said it best when you said it's dense, and there's Scott Snyder tends to go so big and so convoluted. It's sometimes it's hard to remember what's going on all the spinning plates that he sets up, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a lot of new character, like new twists on characters. We got low. Well, okay, so are we not doing spoilers? Because
I wasn't. No, you definitely can. Well, let's go into it.
I just want to say I think they used Black Lantern really well. I thought that was awesome. I didn't see that coming at all.
No, it's true.
But it was cool. I dug it. I dug this first issue.
Matt?
I was not a fan of Dark Knight Metal, and I think Death Metal's going to stay that way. I would probably give this book, I don't know, I'd give this book maybe a 2.5 out of 5. Whoa. I feel like there's a lot missing here. I felt like when I'm reading this issue, there's a lot of holes. And I understand Scott Snyder's writing. I've been a fan of his for a long time. I understand he leaves holes and then he comes back to it. And it's an interesting choice that they're bringing the whole Doomsday Clock tie-in, the Dr. Manhattan stuff. Like, you see shots of Wally West looking like a Dr. Manhattan Wally West. He's got the blue suit, flash suit with the ring and indentation in his head. And, it's a little weird. Like, I think the coolest part was the Black Lantern stuff. Seeing that Black Lantern ring used. But you kind of like, what's they kind of tease you a little bit with Lobo. You don't know what the main man's doing. I think there's just a lot here to unpack, and it's one of those books where I've actually had to read this issue. I've read this issue twice, and I feel like I need to read it a third or fourth time to kind of unpack everything. And it's just real weird. I don't know if it's just my disdain for Dark Knight Metal and people who think that Dark Knight Metal was like the greatest Batman series ever. It was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. I don't know. I'm gonna giving it a go. Giving it a go. But right now, like, I think on first issue alone, I'm gonna go with 2.5 out of 5. My score might go up, but like I said, I've read it twice. I feel like I need to read it a third time. Swamp Thing, the art is fantastic. Capullo's art in it is fantastic. Like, I take nothing away from Capullo. Like, his like decommissioned and destructed Swamp Thing is cool looking. His Batman design is cool. It's just like, I don't know. I think it's just oversaturation of Batman, and I understand why, but I want to see more. Like, what Superman looks dope. Superman's design, and you both know me. I am not a Superman fan at all, and I think Superman looks super dope in this. But I just think there's a lot of plot holes for issue 1. There's a lot of missing, and I think after 2 reads, I gotta go 2.5. It's probably gonna get better as the story goes on, and I might go back and raise that. But right now, I gotta go. You know what? I'll give it a 3. I'll be fair. 3 out of 5.
There we go.
I'll be fair to it.
You talked yourself into it, huh?
Yeah, but there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of plot holes, and there's a lot of like jumping around that I don't feel like was needed. But honestly, if you liked Dark Knight's Metal and you were hard on Dark Knight Metal, this is right up your alley. But
Yeah, I liked the first one. But you're right, there was a lot of holes left, and I'm not entirely sure they were all answered. And so if that series, if I learned anything from that series, it's just to roll with it at first. Just roll with it. And you're right, there are a lot of different jumps to different scenes, different characters, different scenarios, and I just rolled with it, and see where it takes us. Hopefully, the stuff, all of it gets answered, or at least the cooler parts get answered. But
yeah, and like I'm a little confused on why it starts off with that like general, and then it cuts into Diana and Swamp Thing, and then she decommissions the invisible jet, and Batman, the real Bruce Wayne, contacts her, and he's like make armor out of the invisible jet, and then it you have all this stuff in between. It jumps to you seeing Superman, it jumps to you seeing Lobo, and then it ends with you back on that army general, and it's like, what is this? Is he someone that was risen with the Black Lantern ring, or what is it? Like, it's still, I think there's a lot of questions. I mean, for an issue ones, I guess I don't like to be that many plot holes. Like, I think this gets away with it because it's a continuation of Dark Knight Metal. So I think Snyder looks at it like you can have these many plot holes. I don't like there to be this many plot holes in a first issue right off the bat.
I push back just a little bit, only because I think with the number one, you're setting the stage. You're setting the story that's going to happen. So in this case, especially with someone like Scott Snyder, who, as you know, I'm not the biggest fan of. I enjoy his, praised Batman runs, but just in general, I'm not. He's okay. He's good. He's not something that bowls me over. He's not the Frank Miller for sure. No, I'm kidding. But I give him a lot of leeway because his style is all over the place. It's bombastic, it's large, and then he kind of goes back and fills in those gaps, but in a way that actually sounds like an artist who's in control of his craft, not like Tom King. So you kind of have that. You kind of every episode I gotta stick it.
Gotta get that zinger in there.
I gotta get that zinger in once, but I gave it a little bit of leeway or a big grain of salt because we know it's going to happen. And number one, you're already setting the stage. Now, some may cover every little bit and guide you as the reader to the next issue and go that way. But it's the beginning. It's not like it's issue 3 of a 6-issue limited series, and we're still having these holes. And so that's why I give it a 3 as well. I wasn't a big fan of Dark Knight. Not Dark Knight. Yeah, Dark Knight's Metal. So, I mean, Death Metal is the same thing. I gave it a C the first one. I give it a C now. I like the different interpretations of Batman. I like, the illustration are interesting. You could tell that they were just having fun with it, and I think there's something to be said for that. But the Diana thing was also rather off-putting to me. I didn't realize it was kind of jarring as to why we were all of a sudden, boom, we're going to look at her. And again, some of those holes, I give Snyder the benefit of the doubt that he is purposely leaving to fill in later. Now, if those aren't filled in by issue 3 or issue 4, then maybe we have some issues and I look back. But I give it a 3 out of 5.
Like, they tried to make unnecessary jokes, like with the T-Rex, and then making fun of his tiny arms, and he says that they're proportionate, and he's learning to deal with them. It was quirky, but I don't know. I just think there's a lot going on. The art, I'll be honest with you, what gives this book a 3 out of 5 to me is alone the art. Just the shots of actual Bruce Wayne, like in the trench coat.
That was sick.
And stuff, and I give it that. The art, the way Diana looks, the very first page we open it where it has the Joker minions, the Joker Robins, the art alone, like seeing that Harley Quinn, you kind of see that classic Harley Quinn look too. And but you question, like, he's got this council, and you question, like, Aquaman's on this council, Diana's there, you have Mr. Miracle, you have just Superman, and it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah,
but I liked it.
There it is.
3 out of 5. I'm gonna go for round 2 for issue 2. Hopefully it gets better. Scott Snyder, it's very rare Scott Snyder does me wrong, and if this is gonna be his last Batman story, I hope he's gonna put everything he's got into it. And I'm gonna be gonna keep going, but it just I don't know if it's maybe because it's so long ago that I read Dark Knight Metal that I almost feel like I needed to go back and read that leading into Death Metal.
Yeah. Refresh your memory.
Yeah, but
of the tone of the story.
At least maybe the last issue or something.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3. I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
But we did with this issue though. We did see our first problems when it comes to the new distribution. So the black and white cover.
Oh, real quick, we got to get Jay's grade.
Oh yeah, Jay. Sorry.
I sense a transition.
Oh, to this?
Yeah.
Death Metal? 3.5.
Okay.
3.5. So, but what I was saying is they did a midnight release event at your local LCS for this, for Dark Knight Metal or Dark Knight Death Metal. There was a variant cover specifically for the midnight release that you only got if you went to the midnight release. So they advertised that variant cover before Corona happened and Diamond shut down. It was a different cover. The black and white cover was the 1 in 100 cover where you had to order. You got one of the black and white covers for every 100 issues they ordered. Well, when DC went through their new distributors, it got mixed up, and they went and made the black and white cover their midnight release cover, and the cover that was supposed to be released became the 1 in 100. So if you wanted that 1 in 100, midnight release cover more than the 1 in 100, well, you're shit out of luck now.
That's so well.
So.
Wow, cracks are starting to form. It won't be long before DC comes running back to Diamond.
No, I don't think that's gonna be the case. But
I'm kidding.
That is it's a small hiccup, but it is the first hiccup of this new venture. So there you go. But yeah. So we got 3.5, 3.5, and 3.5 out of 5 from Jay, huh? Jay has just got to be the one that goes against the grain.
No, I don't know. I'm gonna stick through this.
There you go.
I'm in it for the long haul.
It's Batman. I think we're all in it for the long haul, and then we'll just trash on it as we go. No matter how much I hated Dark Knight Metal, I still read through it. But I read
every issue of Tom King's run. I hated it. Batman.
It's just Batman. You're gonna read through it because it's Batman. But all right, what do we got next? Who wants to go? You want to go, Jay?
Well, I'm out.
Sure. So I picked up issue 1 and issue 2, which came out this week, of Hotell by AWA Upshot Studios. And AWA Upshot also put out the one of the books I reviewed last time, Old Haunts. They put out 0 Year. So I'm like, oh, that's, they're pretty good. They've got a pretty good track record so far with me. So I picked this up, and it is like a horror type series, and it's kind of like a creep show, Tales from the Crypt type stories, where the first book was completely unrelated. Only it's about a hotel in the middle of nowhere that's okay. So the way the narrator puts it, it only gets seen by the people who deserve to see it, if that makes any sense. So the first issue was about a lady that checked into the room number 1, and this one is the people that checked in room number 2. And in this issue, oh my gosh, the first issue was, I'll just tell you a little bit about the first issue because it was so crazy. So it was a pregnant woman that, okay, that's not funny. I'm just thinking ahead of myself.
No, it's the way you said it, yeah.
No, I'm just thinking ahead of it was so bizarre. It was a
How bizarre?
Woman, and it was
how bizarre.
Okay, just wait. You'll hang on to something load bearing. It's coming. So the lady was running from an abusive boyfriend, and she took off in the middle of the night. She was pregnant, and so she got to this hotel. She just couldn't drive anymore. She'd had it, trying to get away from this crazy dude. And she pulls into the hotel and she checks in, and the first night she starts having these dreams about her baby. and her baby's talking to her and saying, mommy, I'll protect you. You need to trust me. I love you. I'm here to protect you. Everything's going to be all right, and blah, blah, blah. And so she'd wake up. She'd go, that was a really weird dream. And she'd wake up all like where the dream was so intense, she like scratched herself. And so she's like had scratches on her neck and on her like shoulders and stuff. And the second night, same thing. She had the same dream of, mommy, the bad man's coming. I can see him. He's coming, but don't worry. We'll be okay. I love you. We'll be together forever. And the mom's like, I love you too, baby. I don't know you, but I love you. And blah, blah. So anyway, So then this happened another night. And by the fourth night, you realize it's not her baby. It's actually like a demon that's living in her room, whispering these things to her while she's sleeping. And she finally realizes, and she freaks out, and she sees she's running out the hotel room, and she sees her boyfriend, who was, I guess, about to confront her, and the demon like clawed his eyes out, and he was just kind of like wandering around, and it ended there. It was like, oh my gosh, that was really bizarre. There were some other more twisted details I left out, but it got way darker. So I went back and I got the second issue, and it's again similar Tales from the Crypt, creep show type thing, but this time it was a little bit and this one was about a lady and a guy who are having an affair, and the guy takes her on this long trip just to kill her. And he finds this hotel, he pulls over, and he just hacks her up in the hotel room, puts her in a suitcase, and throws her in this lake, but she keeps coming back. And eventually, he hacks her up again and throws her in the suitcase, and she comes back again, and she keeps doing this over and over. And then finally he like goes in the suitcase and sees if like what's going on. So he goes down into this lake, and he gets one of the suitcases, and he gets trapped in the suitcase, and he like dies in there. So I don't know.
I like your giggle after he dies in there.
If you guys ever
so grim.
ever saw like Tales from the Crypt or something like
one or
that.
two episodes. That kind of macabre kind of story.
Yeah, they're like goofy horror things, and that's what this is, and it's pretty fun. So I'm gonna stick with it. I give this one another. Well, okay, first issue I'll probably, and I know I'm not probably officially reviewing it, but I'll give it a 3.5. This one I'll probably give a 3 because it wasn't as crazy. So
okay.
Dude dying in a suitcase isn't as crazy as Devil Demon Hell Child, huh?
No, because that one was
with goodnight kisses.
That
good night, mommy. Good night, baby. Who I don't know, who is now I love. Who is what I love.
It was jarring, to say the least. This one, I'm like, it was all right. We'll see. Number 3.
We'll see number 3. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting with I had no problem thinking that this baby was my own, even though I have no evidence to prove that it is. But wait, it's a demon? Oh, that's where I draw the line. Like, it was an imaginary baby. It might as well be the same thing. Yeah, interesting though. Okay.
And he was like a little baby demon too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird.
That is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's liven this party up a little bit.
You guys are like left. You guys are like stunned. You guys are like.
Well, yeah, the story I didn't know where to go with that.
So I'm gonna go next here with a book that I picked up on a whim because it was an Image #1, and it's pleasantly surprised me, and it's gonna come in at another high rank for me this week, and that is A Man Among Ye #1
Among Ye
from Image. Look, and Top Cow, Image and Top Cow. We don't have enough pirate stories
No,
in comics right
I
now.
wholeheartedly agree with that.
We have Marauders, but that's kind of an X-Men thing. We don't have any great current pirate stories.
Yeah, swashbuckling adventures.
And that is exactly what this book is. This book is a swashbuckling adventure. It starts off with them in a giant pirate ship fight raiding an English ship. And it has a woman pirate on there. And she's pretty much feared by the whole crew. They talk shit about her, but she's a badass. She has the captain's respect. You know, she's right in the middle of fight, shooting dudes, stabbing guys. This is crazy. You have the main pirate captain. His name is Calico Jack. And I'm trying to remember what's the girl pirate's name, Jay?
I don't think she had like a cool name. I think it was just like
no, she does. Let me get it.
Was it?
Yeah. And I read this too. Her name is Anne Bonny. It's not a cool name. It's not a cool pirate name, but Anne Bonny. She's a badass. So basically, they dispatch this this English ship, and they get their bounty, and they're about to go and have a great time. When part of the crew starts mutinying and saying that they're going to, that King George is offering anyone who will basically mutiny against Calico Jack free harbor, and all their debts and things will be forgiven. So they're partying it up. The captain's crew is talking about mutinying, and there's a stowaway. You find a stowaway on the ship, and as they're kind of partying around, the stowaway is discovered, and she's thrown in jail, or the stowaway is thrown in jail, and they're going to beat the crap out of this child. It's a child. And as they start fighting, Annie comes down, and she was like, there's not a good fight unless I'm involved. So we're going to fight it out. And they break a beer bottle, and things start going south, and they start fighting, and the little kid starts fighting back. And they're basically like, beat the crap out of this little boy. It's just a little boy. Somebody beat the crap out of it. And that's when Andy kind of grabs the kid and brings it over to her and goes, actually, it's not a boy, it's a girl. And that's where issue 1 ends. So, look, like I said, this book got me hyped because we don't have enough pirate adventures in comics. It was a nice change of pace. The art is beautiful. Yeah. The story was fun. It was a fun read. I was completely engaged in this book. I would definitely recommend, if you're into pirates and you're into swashbuckling adventures and you just want a different change of pace from your normal Batman or superhero type stuff, I would say definitely check out A Man Among Ye, number 1, 4.5 out of 5 for me.
I miss those. You get a lot of art. Pirates. Remember back when The Walking Dead was big and dead people and necrophilia was in vogue in comics, and now all that stuff's gone too.
I miss those necrophilia days.
stuff I never asked for that is back. Like, I want more pirates in my comics. Let me get a Captain Hook number 2.
And I mean, we're trying to be as vague as possible this week because books just came out yesterday, and you might not have made it to your shop yet to read them, depending on when you're listening to this. But this book was a lot. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. The pirate action is good in it. It's definitely. I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised also when I started reading this, and I don't think we've ever seen this where there's the lady pirate that just starts out the badass, and she's like the captain's like right hand. She's like his enforcer, and they show her badassness a few times in here. I mean, there's this part, just real quick, when Matt was talking about the ship that they were raiding, and it was, they left it and they took the gold, and Anne Bonny was walking back, and she heard this guy shuffling around. He's like, I don't want to die. And so she takes his gun and puts it in his face, and the guy goes, you wouldn't. And she said, oh, I will. And the guy spits on her face, she turns around and throws this lantern over her shoulder and just lets the whole ship just,
Catch on fire. Yep.
catch on fire. And the guy's just sitting there screaming, It's like, dang, that's awesome. So yeah, it's great. And like you said, the art is phenomenal.
Hey, what do they always say? Real heroes walk away from explosions, right? Or real men walk away from explosions. Well, she's the real men of the bunch, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was a great book.
Well, 4.5 for me too.
It was pleasantly surprising, and I just picked it up because I was like, man, a pirate book could really use some change of pace here. Like you don't see that anymore, and I was pleasantly surprised. And the best part is written by a female writer, so Stephanie Phillips is the writer. So I'm gonna definitely be back for issue 2 of this. A little bit more of this, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, what book you got next, Jay?
Let's see. I'll talk a little bit about Army of Dark, Death to the Army of Darkness, which is a sequel to Army of Darkness. And this time, so we find Ash still struggling with random demons coming into this dimension because of the Necronomicon that he owns. And so let me start off just a little bit before and just say, this book is really outrageous and cartoony.
Well, yeah, it's Army of Darkness. I would hope so.
No, but it's even worse than the movies. It's like way cartoon. Okay, so Ash is sick of the random demons coming around, so he goes to see this professor, and the professor says, "Oh yeah, I think I can get rid of this for you." And so he starts reading out of it, and then like his personality, so what happens when he starts reading the book? He causes Ash's personalities to be manifested into 5 different beings. So like there's like a lady Ash, there's like an undead Ash, there's a tiny little Ash that's his anger, there's like a bulldog, and okay, I think that's it. So there's 4, and himself, of course. And so they're all like his little team. And so he goes back and he goes back to the professor, and he's like, "Look, you need to help us again. Look at what happened." So he tries reading it again, and a portal pops open, and they get sucked in, and they end up going to
been there. We've all been there. Sucked in some portals.
And so they're trying to get to the source, like where the Necronomicon comes from, and they think that's where they can finally destroy it. And they just, their adventure just keeps going on through.
The adventure continues.
The adventure continues through ancient Egypt. They go and they find a town, and they talk to a pharaoh.
I found a town in ancient Egypt once and talked to a pharaoh.
Did you?
No.
You're like Indiana Jones.
Legend has it he left a baby there.
Yep, I did. I went for some scratchers and never came back.
That's the demon baby. That was.
Hey. There you go. It all comes together.
I went up on a mountain top and I talked to a fiery bush, and I just never came back.
Oh,
I may have parted a sea or two, and I just never went back.
I hope you got some cream for that afterwards.
Oh my gosh!
I need a little ointment for that burn.
But anyway, so they find this issue ends where they find a big castle in the middle of the desert, and they think that's where the Necronomicon comes from, and that can set you back to normal. So it's a fun read, real quick. The art, it looks like animation cells, pretty much. Like I give it 3. I like I like Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. I would only recommend this if you're already a fan of those movies. So yeah, it's just fun. Nothing like we always say, it's like a palate cleanser kind of thing.
Those can be good. Those can definitely be good. I like it. All right. Solid 3. It's been a 3 kind of week. I think a lot of that's because it's early. Like Matt referenced earlier, you might be just getting your books if you're listening to this now or whenever you are. So, we got to give further review. We go through a detailed analysis here at Spinner Rack. We read each book 3 times for quality assurance. First time.
For quality assurance, right?
So
maybe not on Thursdays when we do this.
Exactly. On Thursdays, we only get through 1. And so, we have to make split-second reactions there to guide you, the listener, through the book. So we did the best we could. 3s all around. All right.
There you
Are
go.
we ready?
All right. So my last book this week, I have, and I think Jay read it too, is going to be Wynd number 1.
Win number 1.
Wynd number 1.
Huh?
Win.
From James Tynion the Fourth, the current writer on Batman. This is a Boom Studios book. Boom being that boom, killing it. This is a fantasy adventure book. It follows a young man by the name of Wynd who is he's some kind of appears to be an elf. We don't know. He's got elf-like ears. He lives in a land where the magic carrying people have been banished out, and only humans are allowed in this kingdom after a great war. The last stronghold for pure humans only is this kingdom, and he has infiltrated it, and he works at a local pub. You kind of see that the bartenders in there, or the people in there, having a good time, getting drunk before the next shift starts. Wynd is kind of he doesn't seem to have very many friends, even though the local pub owner likes him and his sister. You see that there's something going on in the kingdom. The king is in bad health, and the prince is getting ready to ascend the throne. You see the prince calls for his friend to come to the throne room, and you find out that there's some sort of coup afoot, and that the magic people, the magic bringers, or the people who cast magic, are getting ready to attack or to overthrow the prince to take the crown and infiltrate this last land where there's no magic bringers. It's the last of pure humanity. So they bring in a man that he's kind of like I don't know if you would say, what would you say, Jay? Like he's a hitman almost?
Yeah, like an enforcer.
They call the Bandaged Man.
He's very feared.
He's very feared against magic bringing folk.
Looks like a dollar store version of Hush.
He does. He does kind of look like a dollar store version of Hush.
A great value Hush.
But I like this book if you're a D&D fan, or if you like any of those other like Old Guard or Once and Future, or there's Fables and some other books out there that are kind of like that mystery adventure type. If you're a fan of our folklore or any of those, I would say definitely pick it up. It got a 3.5 out of me. It definitely kept attached to my interest. Definitely looking forward to issue 2 to kind of see how all these characters come together and what type of adventure they go on. So I'll definitely be there for issue 2, but I picked it up because it was a Boom number 1. Boom's been kind of killing it. So it was good enough where I'll definitely check out issue 2.
Solid.
What do you think of it, Jay?
I don't think I liked it as much as you did.
Shocker there.
It was just a little too YA for me.
I hate when books do that.
Yeah.
I'm not a kid. I'm a grown man.
But
you're reading comics. At some point, you got to let it go and enjoy the adventure, right? You got to let it take you on that adventure.
Yeah.
Everything can't be doom and gloom, Mr. Suitcase Baby.
Oh no. That's not the point.
I'm just kidding.
It's a little too like there's a lot of teens. Okay, it was mostly about teens, and one of the teens moaning because he doesn't want to be king, and but his dad expects too much of him.
As a kid, as a father, you don't have some teenage angst in your house.
Yeah,
you're not used to the teenage angst
to get the hell away from it.
If you want, Matt, if you want to talk about teens and that kind of if you want to talk about teens and that kind of content, I have a great show for you on Saturday nights. You can jump on.
No, bro. You're not going to try to use my joke
Great
against
show
me,
for you
all
on
right?
Saturday nights that you can jump on. You want to talk about kid stuff?
No.
I know Scooby Doo is
You're
high
not
up there.
using my joke
We're not
against
talking
me.
about that right now. We are talking about
Enjoy Corbin's last performance on Spinner Rack because he's going to be joining another show Saturday nights. Get out of here.
You always threaten us. You always threaten us with that.
Yeah, guys.
Every time we don't behave,
we're
you
shipped
threaten
away.
to kick us over the couch.
That's
He's a
right.
dictator, I tell you. He's a dictator. All right.
What's your score on it, Jay?
I'll give it a 2.5.
2.5.
But I am going to at least get the next issue because I thought it ended on a pretty cool cliffhanger. When the two guys were sitting there saying, what I'm going to ask of you, what did he say? He said something like, I'm going to ask something that's one of the most important things I can ask that anyone's going to ask in your whole life. And then it ended right there.
Yeah, pretty much like a something I shouldn't be asking you, but I'm going to ask you to do it anyways.
Right. And so that was pretty cool. I'll at least come in one more issue. And if I'm not dazzled, then rip cord, I'm out.
We out.
All right. Well, Corbin's been waiting all week, so those are our reviews. We appreciate you guys checking those out. Go ahead, Corbin. Take it away. Open your mystery box. Let's go real quick.
You know, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. You know it. You love it. It's me and mystery boxes. It's actually in a bag. Came in a bag today. It's referred to as shipped to the comic. That's my name for my books. When I want to do reckless comic book spending, I don't use my name. They call me the comic. Short for the comic barbarian. Anyway, so I said Ohio. I actually meant Tennessee. Don't really remember where I buy these things. This was
close enough.
Box. Thank you. With the retail value of $75 to $125, I got mine for $50. So I opened it just so I didn't have to struggle opening it on the camera, but I didn't look inside. I'm pulling everything out, and I'm just going to show it to you. Oh, okay. I already see the trade at the back. All right. So the first thing is, oh, wow. That is a Batman metal print from the best Batman movie ever done.
Oh my God.
Batman Forever.
Wow.
Oh my God. That is a sick print. Batman Forever, ladies and gentlemen. Best Batman movie ever. Okay. Then I have another print.
Fantastic Four, the thing.
A Marvel, 95 Marvel Annual Fantastic Four. I have another print. This would be not for me, maybe for the ladies out there, but
no, that's definitely for you. That's definitely right up your alley.
No.
Yep.
I got some name more up here.
That's definitely right up your alley.
I don't know. Ladies, if you want that in me, let me know. All right.
That's a lot of pecs.
You better start doing crunches now.
One symbiote Spider-Man #1.
So there's your number one.
All right. Is that a good one? Yeah. I know. Then I got I got Detective Comics, the annual for 1989, featuring Mark Waid and Brian
what an
Augustine,
interesting cover.
Which I think we know which. Let me see if this one is what I. This is an interesting cover. Let me open this up. It's taped rather crudely, but that's whatever. On the other side, I have
Were you purposely trying to cover that cover, or did that just happen on accident?
Oh, that just happened.
Okay.
That's interesting. KK something. Gwenpool number
Demonetized.
9.
Bam.
Yeah, exactly. My bad, y'all. But this is the annual, and it's what is this? Oh, it's just a Mark Waid, Brian Augustine book. So this was around the same year that they came out with Gotham at Gaslight. This one is Batman back in the days of a certain villain who liked to dress themselves up in white sheets. So we're gonna leave that alone. Then we got Brightest Day, Green Lantern Corps. Got Peter J. Tomasi and Pat Gleason on this side. On the other one, we have Brightest Day, Green Arrow, Lady of the Forest. Not really sure. These aren't really sweeping my eye. That prints were nice though. Then we have Marvel Zombies #2 variant cover. I'm assuming. Yep. Ooh, no. And then we have Iron Man True Believers. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. These are interesting. All right, let's move a little faster. Blackest Night, Tales of the Corps. Again, Jeff Johns, Peter Tomasi. And then you got Black Knight Outsiders, Tomasi again. you know, if you're a big fan of him, this is the box for you. And then we got a couple of little trades. I have The Griffin by Dan Vado and Norman Felchel.
You're all about
Never
them
heard.
trades. You're all about them trades.
Yeah, never heard of that. Then I have book 3 of Frank Miller's seminal work, Ronin, which is a Ronin displaced in 80s New York and fighting an ancient demon. Good story. And then last but not least, Avengers versus the New Ultimates.
Hey, that's a Spider-Man issue.
Yep.
That's
So-
Punisher shooting Spider-Man.
There it is. The one in the gut shot. Anyway, so that was it for $50.
Not worth it.
I'm 0 for 2 right now on these mystery boxes. I'm going to different states. We took a visit to Denver. Didn't like what we saw there. Now I went on down to Tennessee, and we leave in that place. Tune in next time for my next expensive mystery box.
Where are you taking us on your next comic mystery box road trip?
I'll tell. Oh, speaking of that, no, I do have one on the way. It's gonna be a lot shorter. Let me let y'all know real quick while I have a captive audience. This one was, how much was this box? This one was $25, and it's called The Best Marvel and DC Comic Book Collection Lot. It's a grab bag with the bonus value, and that should be here in a couple days.
Didn't he just tell me that's what he was opening today, Jay? Isn't that
my
what he
fault.
said to us in
No,
the?
I read that wrong. The one I have is
so.
a lot of 10 different DC Marvel comic book Avengers books. That was a $10 box. I got 2. I told you, remember? So
That's what he told us today. He was like, it was $50. It's the greatest DC Marvel box, guaranteed to have a number one. And its number one is Symbiote Spider-Man.
Listen, I have another one coming from Pompano Beach, Florida. Should be here in a week.
Yeah,
Huh.
I told you.
Right.
I told you it's probably gonna be junk. You're like,
Yeah,
when I get this great old DC number one, I was like, yeah, right, dude.
That's a good book. It's a trade that's out of print. Been big on
Nah.
these. Collects Venom's early work. But aside from that, yeah, I'm a watchman. It was a waste of money. I feel bad. I'm over 2 on the spinner rack with mystery boxes.
0 for 2.
If you're
Come
a comic
back next
shop,
time to see if Corbin redeems himself, because he probably
comic
won't
shop, you
have.
got good mystery boxes, let us know. Ask Matt for the email, for the spinner rack, all that good stuff. Go in the comments. I want to buy a good box. Let me spend my money on a good box, please. What's in the box? That's all I got.
Huh.
It's a mystery. You gotta
That's it.
buy it. You gotta buy it to see it, my friend. It's a
All right.
mystery.
Well, that's all I got. What a
And he
50
still
bucks.
hasn't learned his lesson either.
Yeah, so the $50 one was a wash, and then you go and spend $10 hoping it's better.
I bought both, I bought both at the same time. So the
Oh, okay.
the other one was $30, the Mile High Comics box. I bought that one. Then I got paid again. I bought another mystery box, and I saw one for $10. I was like, but I was really big on this one because it said it was the best value.
Hey,
Like,
Corbin, I got some magic beans I want to sell you. You know, if you plant them in the ground, they'll totally grow into a giant beanstalk.
But they're not just any magic beans. These are the best.
Yeah, they're the best magic beans. And what they do is a mystery.
I fell for it. Child. It's all good. It roast me over the
Well,
quilt.
At least you got some trades in there, you know. At least you got some self-contained, possibly some self-contained stories in there, not just
sorry.
random things.
That is true. It's a run or it's a good set. If I was able to talk to these store owners directly, I can negotiate a good price. I tell you, I could.
Hey, if you guys want to find out just how good of a negotiator Corbin is, come on, check out the Absolute Geek Podcast tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. right here on this same channel. We're going to tell you how good of a negotiator Corbin is.
For real, though.
Edge of your seat stuff here, people. If you need anything negotiated, Corbin is your man. I will not go buy a car ever again without Corbin by my side for those pure negotiation skills. Find out how he does it tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. right here on the Absolute Geek Podcast. But moving on, because this is Spinner Rack, let's get to a little bit of comic book related news.
Let's do it, please. Okay.
All right, something Jay wanted to talk about. DC and Spotify are cutting a deal to have a multiple podcast drama series starring DC comic book characters. Hard pass for me.
Yeah.
Hard pass for me. because I understand that the Wolverine, they've had a Wolverine one from Marvel that did good. There was a Black Widow one that was kind of interesting, but to me, it's more like not like a podcast. It's more like listening to a comic book on tape.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and see, I like the storytelling form of a comic book. You know, I don't. You know, I know DC has all those novels out. I don't want to read those either because I like comic books. I like the way my imagination, just unfolds these panels and fills in the gaps between the sequences, the panels, and there's something the way the story's told through a comic book, and that's why I love them. It's not because of Wolverine, and I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know, man. It's weird. I think that whole thing is bizarre.
I mean, I will say, I mean, I don't know. I think I don't mind listening to audio. It's not a huge deal for me. It's not my first mode or method of entertainment, I guess, aside from podcasts, of course. So I don't have too many thoughts on it. I just think it's interesting. I don't like having a Spotify exclusive. We're not even sure about the content that you're presenting. I'm sure more details will come out, but that just doesn't scream right to me. If you said, "Oh, I'm reading the classic books and it's only found on Spotify," yeah, I wouldn't like it, but at least I understand. But this mystery project from DC, which has been noted to just be kind of all over with these big moves that have little benefit at the end, I'm not totally sold. And plus, Marvel's already done it, and I'd say they did it better with the whole podcast version of their or audio version of their comic. So, yeah, I range between not caring and just not liking it for DC, but it is what it is.
So Diamond is going to give you a free comic book day, even though free comic book day, which is normally held the second Saturday in May, was canceled this year due to COVID-19. From July 15th through September 9th, Diamond is going to be shipping out free comic book day books with their merchandise to stores. It's going to vary depending on what store gets what week. But there you go. All your free comic book day books that maybe you were looking forward to are still going to get to you, but you're just going to pick them up starting July 15th through September 9th when you pick up your weekly readers. So that's cool to look forward to. If you're looking for the X-Men and Spider-Man /Venom free comic book day titles, those will be available in most likely the middle of July, it says.
There you go.
There you go.
Props to that. Given that's something to look forward to.
The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman announced today that The Walking Dead is going to have a special Negan one-shot that is going to be in comic book stores called Negan Lives. It's going to hit your comic book stores in July as well to help boost those sales. Kirkman came back and said, "I know that Charlie Adler and I walked away and said that we weren't going to explore anymore in this universe, but we figured what better way to help the people that helped us launch this massive book than to bring it back with one more story." And that's what they're going to do. So Negan Lives in your comic shops in July. Trying to get the hard date on that. I know it was pretty quick in July. Just in July. So there you go. Next month it's going to hit. So look forward to that. Negan Lives #1 is a 36-page black and white comic book available exclusive at comic book shops on Wednesday, July 1st. There you go. July 1st. Wednesday, July 1st.
Be ready.
Cool.
There are extremely rare gold and silver foil variants for Negan Lives #1 in limited quantities. Inquire with your local comic shop for availability and future details.
Yeah, I'll never see one of those.
This is definitely a pickup for a must get for me as a Walking Dead fan, hands down. And the last little bit of news is that DC is making Green Lantern 76, written by Denny O'Neil, art by Neil Adams, as a free digital download, to celebrate Denny O'Neil's life, the life and times of Denny O'Neil. So there you go. You can get a free Denny O'Neil Green Lantern 76 and digital to help celebrate his life. Cool. So let's get to a little bit of a buyer pass for next week. Doing buyer pass for the week of 6/24/2020. 20. That is a Marvel on week, ladies and gentlemen. Marvel will be back in stores that week.
True believers.
So let's go. This is books we're planning to pick up, books we would recommend on this Buy or Pass list. So we're going to start with... let me pull this up because it's not loading right. Boom Studios has Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 50. That's going to be a big issue, apparently. Some big stuff comes in that. So if you're a big Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan, I say check it out. I would say buy. That's going to be a buy for me if I were to recommend. That's a pass for Jay. What about you, Corbin?
Same.
You got Once and Future number 8. If anyone's reading that, I'm not reading that book anymore, so I can't.
Why aren't you reading anymore? You can maybe share with the listeners.
I wasn't impressed by issue 1. Karen Gillian is not my favorite writer. I feel like his writing is lost on me, and it takes me out of the story a little bit. It's a little hard to focus on, so he's not a writer for me. But I know a lot of people that love his writing. So
okay, well, I'm not picking about that. I was just
I know.
In why you weren't.
So we got DC Comics. We have Aquaman 60.
Man, pass.
No, I'm not touching Aquaman.
Batgirl 46.
I might look into that.
Yeah, depends on how much else I get.
Yeah,
Batman 93.
Got to.
That's a definite for all of us, I think.
No-brainer.
Batman Beyond 44.
That's a no-brainer for me. You gotta love Dan Jurgens' work. Sean Chen, great team on there.
Batman the Smile Killer number 1.
What?
Probably gonna check that out. Probably gonna check that out.
Who's writing that, Matt?
The Smile Killer is Jeff Lemire.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
That's
I'll check that out.
It's a Joker. It wouldn't be a Joker story without a surprise and right on cue. Here's an unexpected one-shot epilogue to Joker Killer Smile.
Okay.
Young Bruce Wayne grew up watching the Mr. Smile show, and the show ... And the covers are absolutely sick, ridiculously sick. Let me share my screen real quick.
Okay.
The cover to that book, absolutely ridiculously sick.
That's the regular cover?
That is the regular cover, yep.
Ooh.
Wow.
I like.
Yeah.
I like. I'm kidding.
Cover to that issue, sicker than sick.
Yeah. Let's get that bad boy in here.
So I think that's going to be a get for me, too, right there.
We're
going to have Flash 756.
Yes.
I'm flashing out of that one.
Getting Green Lantern, the 80th anniversary 100-page super spectacular. Another one of those 100-page super spectaculars. I think I'm gonna bounce out on that one.
It's $10 again?
Yep.
Oh,
I mean, if it don't got a secret origin or a number 1 or a mystery feature, I'm not touching it. The 80th anniversary spectaculars have been horrible. I don't remember one memorable one that I was like, oh, this is really, really good, aside from some artwork here and there and maybe one story.
The Bat Baby.
I guess. I mean, that wasn't even the kicker for me, but yeah. And then not only that, but it's a character who, while good and has some decent stories, it's not like a cornucopia of treasured, timeless tales. I'm not doing that. No.
You got Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey number 2.
I meant to get into that, but I'm gonna pass for now. We'll wait till it gets back.
John Constantine, Hellblazer 7.
Hell no.
Hell no. Probably not.
Justice League 47.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotta see what happens to Mascara.
Justice League Dark 23.
Maybe.
Red Hood and the Outlaws 46.
Nah.
Probably not.
Suicide Squad 6.
No.
Teen Titans 42.
Nope.
Nah.
Dynamite. Let's see. Not much from Boom.
Red
IDW. Sleeping Beauties number 1.
Yep.
Corbin's all over that
Variant
one.
cover.
Sonic the Hedgehog number 28. Corbin, you on that trend too?
Mm-hmm. You know it.
Looking for the midnight release.
Hey, so Sleeping Beauties number 1 is a horror book based on the horror novel by Stephen and Owen King and adapted for comics. So that's all it says. So might be
because
interesting.
IDW does all the Disney stuff, so I just assumed it was like a Sleeping Beauty. Oh, then in that case, yes, I will get that.
Star Wars Adventures Clone Wars #2.
No.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 105. I'm all over that one.
I know who will be getting that, yeah.
All over that one. Image, we have Die 11.
No.
Sex Criminals 29. Spawn 307.
No.
And their #1 for next week is That Texas Blood #1.
I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel has 2020 Rescue #2.
Oh, thanks.
Captain America Marvel Snapshots #1.
I don't even know what that is.
You got like a retro cover or something?
Empire Avengers 0.
No answer there. No.
Oh, Empire. That's like the whole.
If
gonna be
that's
like the new
Empire,
big
it's spelt
crossover.
wrong unless they misspelt it on here.
It's like EMPYRE.
No,
something like that.
it's not spelled like that on here, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
I'm sure you're right, though. Immortal Hulk 34.
Yes.
Iron Man 2020 #4. Corbin's all in for that.
I'm not been too big on that, to be honest with you. The whole 2020 Iron Man, no.
Spider-Ham
Been
#5.
No.
Star Wars Bounty Hunters #3.
Possibly.
Thor #5. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Yes.
Let's go a little bit more cosmic Thor.
Okay.
So that, and then that's pretty much it for next week.
Interesting.
So looks
Not
like
too
another
much.
Batman heavy week with a side of Marvel.
Side of Thor.
It's Batman with the side of Thor.
Yeah, with a little, little side of Marvel. There is one #1 next week called Bleed Them Dry. That's a Vault comic book. If you're interested, check that out. But that's all I've got. You guys got anything else?
No, I haven't even looked at previews this week. I mean, for next week. I haven't even.
That's I usually do Sundays after I've read my books and things, and it's weird trying to get this all out on Thursday, being vague as possible without ruining it for you people who maybe can't get to the shop until Saturday or Sunday or even today, let alone you can't pick up your books the same day. But
so weird. It's weird, so soon after the rush to get to the book, and then now you're right, previewing. I take my time to look through these. So if you hear this podcast next week or next week's podcast, you may have heard me say yay to some that I won't touch and notice some that because I have to reevaluate. Like I said, it's a thorough process we do here on the Spinner Rack. So you're catching us on like day one of this.
Right. So yeah, that'll do it for this week's issue of Tales from the Spinner Rack. We appreciate you guys for hanging out and checking us out. If this is your first time here and you had a good time, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you get notifications when we go live every Sunday for Spinner Rack and every Friday night, 7:30 p.m. for the Absolute Geek Podcast. Again, you guys got to come check us out tomorrow night when we're doing our thing on the Absolute Geek Podcast. Check out why Corbin is absolutely hands down the master negotiator. You don't want to miss that. It is fantastic. We got all kinds of great things planned for you tomorrow night on that podcast, and it's a lot of fun every week. If this is your first time listening to us on our downloadable platforms, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a review, as it does wonders to help us in the podcasting standings every week. And for this week's episode of Tales from the Spinner Rack, I am Matt.
I'm Corbin.
I'm Jay.
And we'll see you guys next time. Same Spinner Rack time, same Spinner Rack channel. Keep them bagged and boarded. Support your local comic shops and keep your pockets loaded.
Woo! Let's go.